Before you pet your cat's head again, you need to hear this. While it might seem like all cats love a good head scratch, one wrong move could ruin the trust between you and your cat, maybe even for good. You might be making mistakes that cause your cat to avoid head pets altogether without even realizing it. In this video, we're diving into the top 10 things cat owners do wrong when petting their cat's head, and some of these will definitely surprise you. By the end, you'll know how to get it right and make sure your cat never pulls away again. But before we dive in, why not subscribe and join our feline-loving community for more tips and tricks on how to care for your kitty. Mistake number 1. One of the most adorable parts of the cat is their cute little triangle ears. Who can resist wanting to touch them? They look so soft. But unfortunately, like a Toblerone you bought as a gift for a friend, these triangles are forbidden. Some cats might enjoy being touched around the base of their ears, but the ears themselves are highly sensitive. They have so many nerve endings there that having them touched unexpectedly can be uncomfortable. It's not just the sensitivity that makes cats avoid ear touches. Those nerve endings are part of their survival instincts. Cats rely heavily on their hearing to detect even the faintest sounds, so they're naturally protective of their ears. A light touch or flick can feel distracting or even threatening to them, which is why many cats react quickly to get your hand away from that area. Even cats that enjoy other forms of petting often prefer to keep their ears off limits. In fact, if you've ever tried touching a cat on their ears, you've likely found that it's impossible to achieve. The moment even the tip of your finger brushes that soft fur on your cat's ears, they flick away. Mistake number 2. A cat's fur will normally grow in one direction, from their head down to their tail. This direction is called the grain, and, as tempting as it might be, it is important to never pet your cat against the grain. Although petting them that way will make them look adorably fluffy, it can also make them very uncomfortable. Pushing the fur backwards can feel a bit like you're pulling on it. Try rubbing your own hair against the direction that it grows in, and you'll feel what we mean. It also exposes the soft undercoat to the elements. As a result, if you want your cat to enjoy the petting session to the full extent, make sure you always pet them with the grain. Mistake number 3. One easy mistake that a lot of people who are a bit new to cats make is moving too quickly. Cats evolved in a world where they were constantly at risk of being caught and eaten by dangerous predators. Big, fast movements can make them nervous. And to be fair, even if the cat knows that you aren't planning on having a kitty casserole for your dinner, you're still 6 times their size, and being too dramatic in your movements could easily lead to them being unexpectedly kicked or stepped on. Being slow and deliberate in your movements is more likely to put a cat at ease. Mistake number 4. There's another disadvantage to being 6 times the size of a species whose ancient predators included large carnivorous birds. Even today, very small kitties are still at risk of being scooped up by eagles. One of the many reasons why you should never let your kitten out of doors before they're at least 6 months old. As a result, they don't always react well to being suddenly grabbed at from above by a mysterious presence that towers over them. In fairness, most of us would probably be a bit scared as well. When approaching a cat, especially one who is nervous or doesn't know you very well, it's best to try and crouch down to put yourself on their level. Mistake number 5. When trying to touch someone, human or animal, it's usually best to introduce yourself first. Neglecting this basic piece of good manners is a quick way to make a cat not want to be pet by you. With a human, you say hello to introduce yourself and hold out your hand for them to shake. With a cat, the etiquette is a little different. Hold your hand near to their face as if you're going to pet them, but don't actually make contact. They'll likely raise their head and have a tentative sniff. This is their way of deciding whether you're good or bad news. If you pass the smell test, they'll raise their head into your hand. This is the sign that they consent to letting you pet them. Mistake number 6. If they don't want to be pet, then they'll duck their head away. If a cat does this, it's very important that you respect their wishes. Don't try to pet them anyway, and definitely don't chase after a cat who has decided to run away from you. The key to successful feline interaction is patience above all else. Be calm and let them take the lead. That way, even if they run away now, they'll probably come back later. Mistake number 7. Some people, when they feel a cat starting to pull away from them, will instinctively try to restrain them. Anyone who's tried this will know why it's a bad idea. The average cat's response to finding themselves confined is to do whatever they can to wriggle free. Since petting a cat requires at least one hand, and holding them still will usually take 2, even if the would-be petter wanted to keep holding the cat down against their will, they wouldn't be able to continue petting them while they did it. Mistake number 8. Another place on your cat's head that you should probably avoid touching are their whiskers. You're less likely to touch these deliberately, because they're not really particularly pettable on their own, but they happen to be near a lot of areas that are very fun to stroke, such as the cheeks and the top of the head. A cat's whiskers are one of the most sensitive parts of their body, and one of their functions is to let your cat know when a gap is too small for them to fit through. If a cat's whiskers touch the sides of a space, then they know that they're at risk of being stuck. As a result, cats will usually instinctively flinch from anything that touches their whiskers, including your hands. Mistake number 9. People who are more familiar with dogs often make this mistake when petting cats. Although the two species are similar in a lot of ways, both have 4 legs, both are furry, both are friendly with humans. They are very different on the inside. A cat's body is built for speed and agility. Their bones are lighter and their muscles are more loosely connected. This is what enables them to jump such long distances and twist themselves into such weird shapes. The flip side to this, however, is that they're a lot weaker than dogs. As a result, being petted with the same kind of firmness that someone would use to pet a dog can be very uncomfortable for them. Mistake number 10. You're petting your cat, and you think it's going well. You remembered everything we mentioned so far, and your cat seemed to be enjoying it. Just now they were even purring. But all of a sudden, everything goes wrong. Your cat meows, swipes at you with their paw, and runs off in a huff. What did you do wrong? Well, probably nothing. At first. Your cat likely was enjoying the petting session when it started. They just didn't want to spend all day being pet. Cats have things to do. So why didn't they ask you to stop? They probably did. It's just that, unlike humans, cats don't tend to use their mouths to communicate. They prefer to use their tails. A cat who wants to let you know that it's time to end the petting will start by twitching their tail. If you don't take the hint, they'll then start wagging it harder. Only then, if you still don't get it, will they resort to getting the claws out. At that point, from your cat's perspective, it's your fault for not listening to what they were trying to say. Cats often have to put up with humans not understanding them when they're trying to communicate something important. Check out this video, where we talk about things that your cat is trying to tell you that you're probably missing.